Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about proposal presentations. Um, they can find more information about that. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it by advisors, but they can click on the student section. It has the same thing. Definitions, explanations button. You're going to click right there. You're going to scroll down, and there are presentations explained. So their audience for this is just you and your Explore group. The format is up to them. Um, it can just be a PowerPoint. They can just stand up there and talk. They can do whatever they want, but part of the rubric we'll see in a minute is on did they captivate and hold their audience's attention. And if they're not just an excellent speaker, they're not going to be able to do that very well. So with just standing up there and talking. So if they want all their points, they may consider doing more than just the PowerPoint or just standing up there. Okay, the time frame, it needs to be at least 4 minutes. There is a 5-point deduction if it is less than 4 minutes. It can be no longer total than 6.5. So at 6 minutes, you need to hold up a card, tap on the table, something, whatever you set in advance up with your group, how you're going to tell them it's at 6 minutes. And then they have 30 seconds to finish up. And then at the 30-second grace period, once that's over, it is done and you just cut them off. So no presentation will be over 6.5 minutes long. That's so you can kind of schedule out your day and know what you have to get everybody done. It is worth 100 points. I will go over this rubric with you in just a minute. It must include an overview of their big idea. It must include their detailed questions. It must talk about their competencies and how they're going to meet those competencies. So I know when I read through project proposals, a lot of those competencies were just slapped on there, and it was pretty obvious that they had no idea how they were going to meet those. That is the whole purpose of doing these presentations, is that by standing up there and talking, they are telling us that they understand the scope of their project. If they don't understand their competencies, they don't understand the scope of their project. So if they put in a transportation competency for making a fishing project, then they didn't understand their competencies. And I had asked for those to be changed, but if they're not getting changed and they're still presenting it that way, you guys, they're not ready to do their project because they've got competencies they don't understand. So make sure they understand their competencies, make sure they know what they're doing to meet each competency. So if you need to push them to add another competency, you can always ask me, but push them. And at this point, just help them. Just help them find a competency. So if they need research, there's one in ELA that talks about gathering information from different areas. There's research. If they need to create graphs and charts, there's one in math about creating graphs and charts. If they need to do some promotion or making of a poster or things like that, that can be some of the things in media arts or graphic design that they could add. If they need to do a marketing plan for what they're doing to add some more, that is a business area they can do. So those are all things that they can add to their project. If they need to add some writing, and so they need to create a blog and write about, as they're building their engine, they blog it every day. They need to understand that they have got to put those things in there so they can meet all 9 competencies, and also so it can make this project be a semester-long project. So that's what they should be talking about. They shouldn't list those competencies by name. They can if they want to, but that's boring. But they should be talking about, here's how I'm meeting all 9 of their competencies, and kind of go down the list and say they explain it. You'll notice that Emily and Michaela do that on their example ones they did for us. They go through their competencies and talk about how they're going to meet them. They don't say, I will meet competency number 1, but they talk about, I am going to do research. I am going to do flyers. I'm going to, so that's how they're meeting their competencies. Okay. So make sure those are in there. They need to show they're excited about their idea, that they are meeting all their criteria for an Explore project, that they're facilitating their own learning, they're challenging themselves to do something new, they're going to do good research. They need to be telling you all that stuff. Then they need to be prepared for questions from your audience at the end. Those shouldn't be hard, and those are not included in the time. So the 4 minutes is just their speech, so they cannot count those questions as part of their 4 minutes. So make sure they get that all in. You'll notice Emily's is just a little short, in the sample, she's going to re-record it and do it again so it's not too short, because she would lose 5 points, because hers is actually over 4 if you count the questions, but her actual presentation is like 347 or something like that. So she's going to redo that, but make sure you're not counting the questions as part of their presentation. Okay, then let's look at the rubric. So that rubric is on the advisor section. Click on rubrics, scroll down right here. It's proposal presentation rubric. It is a PDF that you can download so you can write on it. But here it is here. It's a total of 100 points. What we're looking for is that they understand their project. Okay, so if they have excellent evidence of their focus and relevance in this presentation, that they're explaining exactly what they're doing, they have an excellent purpose, they understand the purpose of their project, what they're trying to accomplish, they can analyze what their competencies are and tell us what they're going to learn, then they'll do well here. So like on Emily's, I gave her, I think a 38, maybe 39 on this one, because I didn't feel like it had excellent creativity yet, but I definitely felt like she had an excellent concept and grasp of what she was doing. I gave Michaela a 36 here because hers was very strong, but not quite as excellent and completely focused on knowing exactly what it is she's going to accomplish. They're looking if do they have well-developed ideas from their proposal to their plan. So does this presentation match up to what they said they were going to do on their proposal? All right. Are they getting it? Are they using their proposal to guide their project? And Emily and Michaela both did very well at that, so I scored them very high on that. They were both well designed, just coming from a graphic design teacher. They were informative and they maintained their audience's attention. I don't know if they captured their audience's attention, so I docked them both just a little bit on that. And then I thought Emily's responses were right on point. I gave her a 10. I gave Michaela a 9 on her responses. So I gave Emily I think it was a 97, and I gave Michaela a 94 on their projects, on their presentations. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking for, kind of how I graded on this. If you already had downloaded this, you may want to download it again because I had some point totals wrong over here. I had this being 45 instead of 40. So you may want to download that again. But so when you go to do your presentations on Thursday or Friday, you could actually do it earlier if you want to. They just have got to all be done by Friday and then grades put in on Friday. But when you go to do that, you need to remember you need to have your timer. That could be a student in your class ready to time them. You need to be able to record them. And then you need to have your rubrics ready to grade them right then as they give them. When you record these, you can record them on your phone. You can record them with Screencast-O-Matic like Emily and Michaela did. Sitting in front of the group, sitting in front of the computer, that's fine. Everybody was still listening to them do it. However you want to record them, but they need to end up in your folder on Google in the Explore course where you put your proposals. They need to end up there. So you can upload them into there individually, make sure they're each named, the student's name, so we can find them. Or you could put them onto YouTube and save them as unlisted. So that way they're not public, and just take the links and put them all in one Google Doc and put that Google Doc in that folder with the links to everybody's proposal or proposal presentation. That would be absolutely fine, just so I can get to them. I'm not going to watch every single one. I'm going to watch 3 or 4 out of each group and just randomly pick and choose them just to see how we're doing. And then I'll kind of compare their grades, and I'll ask you what you gave them as a grade, and we'll see if we think we're pretty close on that. And that's all we're doing it for. I'm just trying to make sure we're all kind of grading pretty similarly on this. So if you could do that, that would be great. If you have questions on the presentations, question on getting them recorded, whatever, please let me know. I am more than happy to help and to get those done. So good luck this week, and we'll talk to you soon.